So what were some of those things that you learned, Gene, in terms of, for example, how is coaching individual teachers similar or different to coaching, say, on the football field?
Well, one of the things that when you're coaching, when we're coaching adults, what was happening in the beginning when I was working for this other group, they had a model where they would do what might be called lesson studies now. Or I'm going to describe what it is because a lesson study means something different to everybody. So the way that that process worked is that they would say, okay, third grade team, you're going to design a lesson, and then Gene will meet with you. And when he gets there, we'll pull straws and decide who's going to teach that lesson. Okay, you're laughing because you have enough experience to know that however many members were on that team, one teacher wrote that lesson. And so that just didn't work. That didn't work. And so when we went off on our own, we had two caveats for districts that hired us or schools that hired us. Number one was that the administrator would be involved in every part of the process. They would be present in every part of the process. And then the other thing was that every teacher would be coached, and the first time would be individually. And so, guess what? Some teachers didn't want to have to meet with the coach. And there were times when we spent a half hour just listening to why they didn't want to be coached and why they didn't need to be coached and how awful when they had this done to them before, and it was done to them, why they didn't want to do it. And we'd listen for a long time, and then, well, that's fine. Well, tomorrow, then we'll see what you do, and then we'll talk. So we realized that we had to be more structured. And so what we developed, which is what we call learning cycles, which again, coaching cycles rather, is another one of those words that means different things to different people. Some talk about coaching cycles being weeks long. We talk about a coaching cycle lasting 2 days. And so what we do in our coaching cycles is the first day we meet and we talk about a lesson that's going to be taught the next day, not a week from later, but the next day. And we collaboratively plan. And I tell the teachers, this is your lesson. I don't want it to be my lesson. I want it to be your lesson. The next day, they teach the lesson. We observe it. And I say we, whoever was involved in the planning process, it's going to be an administrator and or a coach. These days, many times it's their instructional coach. We observe the lesson, and the next day we meet and we talk about it. So in 2 days, we do that cycle.